Hello everyone, welcome to History and Culture. In 1505, the Ming dynasty welcomed the ascension of its 10th emperor, marking the 138th year in the dynasty's history. This emperor is known to later generations as the Zhengde Emperor, or Emperor Wuzong, Zhu Hozhao. He is one of the most controversial emperors in Ming history. With nearly every one of his actions shocking people and his absurd deeds seemingly endless. It is said that when Qing dynasty princes and princes, received their education at the academy, if they daydreamed during class, the teacher would strike the desk with a ruler, glare at them, and sternly admonish, "Do you want to be like Zhu Hozhao?" Among the many absurdities of Zhu Hozhao, the most famous and widely criticized is the leopard room he built. However, it is important to clarify that the leopard room was not originally created by Zhu Hozhao. Historical records show that the construction of the leopard room began during the reign of the Zhengde Emperor, well before Zhu Hozhao's time. The term leopard room refers to an area designated for keeping wild beasts, such as tigers and leopards. It was specifically built for the entertainment and enjoyment of ancient Chinese feudal nobles. In fact, during the Zhengde Emperor's reign, there were already terms like leopard room warriors, which were similar to modern-day animal trainers in circuses. Today, in Beijing, many places are still named after animals, providing evidence that the leopard room was not a myth but a real historical relic. It was only due to Zhu Hozhao that the leopard room became widely known. The leopard room built by Zhu Hozhao was located to the southwest of Tai Pool within the inner imperial city, near the Xihua Gate. Before this, there had already been a tiger city left by previous emperors, and Zhu Hozhao constructed the leopard room in the northwest corner. Construction of the leopard room began in the second year of the Zhengde reign, 1507, and after 5 years of work, it was basically completed by the 7th year, 1512. The entire leopard room complex had over 200 rooms and cost 240,000 taels of silver. While this might sound like a huge amount compared to the lavish constructions of other emperors, the cost of Zhu Hozhao's project was relatively modest and could even be considered insignificant. According to related historians, Zhu Hozhao's indulgent mindset was likely closely tied to his childhood experiences. As the biological son of the Shaozong Emperor, Zhu Hozhao was regarded as the heir to the empire from birth, with no brothers to contest his claim to power. This environment allowed him to enjoy a carefree childhood, free from competition and pressure. He was the only legitimate son of Emperor Shaozong, who had no other male heirs. Therefore, Zhu Hozhao never had to worry about power struggles with brothers, and his life was naturally relaxed and free. Over time, this carefree lifestyle became ingrained in his mind. It could be said that his worry-free childhood laid the foundation for his later indulgent character. After ascending the throne, Zhu Hozhao's indulgence in life gradually expanded beyond material pleasures to include personal relationships. Much like Cao Cao, he did not enjoy the marriages arranged by his parents and instead found more interest in married women. According to historical records, Zhu Hozhao frequently sought out beautiful women from the common people and sometimes even personally participated in these flower-seeking activities, causing considerable distress among the populace. Due to Zhu Hozhao's actions, some folk performers even turned his absurd deeds into a play called The Dragon Plays the Phoenix, which tells the story of his descent into depravity through power and desire. The people's fear was not only due to Zhu Hozhao's violent methods but also because of the deep influence of the social and moral codes of the time. Under Confucian cultural values, many people strongly believed in the traditional concept that a good woman does not serve two husbands and should remain faithful to one. More subtly, Zhu Hozhao also had a deep interest in the art of bedroom techniques, which led him to pursue desires in extreme ways within the palace. He had a follower named Jiaqing, a Sogdian from the grassland region. This man possessed a special skill, bedroom techniques, which earned him the favor of Zhu Hozhao. In his private life, Zhu Hozhao often made women whom he took from the common folk, his experimental subjects. Some of these women suffered severe injuries during these activities, and many endured immense mental torment. The Empress's carriage, which has been passed down through history, stands as proof of this behavior. Zhu Hozhao's indulgent lifestyle was not only manifested in his pursuit of beauty but also in another shocking detail. Due to his frequent abductions of beautiful women, he was unable to pamper each one individually. Eventually, these innocent women were sent to the Ming dynasty's laundry bureau to serve as laborers washing clothes. Many young women, while waiting to be summoned, often faced beatings from female attendants and endured hunger and imprisonment. For ordinary citizens, the Leopard Room became a never-ending hell. Moreover, while the Leopard Room appeared to be a paradise of indulgence for Emperor Zhu Hozhao, it was far more complicated and troubling than it seemed. Besides being an emperor addicted to pleasure, there was another, more complex side to his life. He was indeed naturally gifted and capable of easily mastering academic knowledge. He was not lacking in academic talent. The night before Emperor Xiaozong of the Ming dynasty passed away, he summoned Grand Secretaries Lu Jian and Li Dongyang to the Qianlong palace, advising them to constantly remind Zhu Hozhao to study and help him become a wise ruler. The crown prince is intelligent, but still young and enjoys pleasures. The teachers should constantly advise him to study and assist him in becoming a wise ruler. This statement reflects Emperor Xiaozong's high expectations for his son. Although Zhu Hozhao enjoyed indulgence, he was not entirely incompetent. Therefore, we should not simply view Emperor Zhu Hozhao as a foolish monarch obsessed with pleasure and indulgence. In reality, he also possessed intelligence. However, between indulgence and responsibility, he ultimately chose to immerse himself in personal desires. It is also worth mentioning that according to the Ming dynasty's ancestral system, emperors typically resided in the Qianlong palace, following fixed procedures to manage state affairs, attending court, meeting officials, reviewing memorials, where every move was closely monitored by the bureaucratic class and scholars. The emperor's life was typically regulated and serious. However, Zhu Hozhao had grown up in an unconstrained environment, accustomed to a free and easy life, and found it difficult to adapt to the strict daily schedule of an emperor. Therefore, Zhu Hozhao needed to find a place that could satisfy his personal desires while also helping him break free from bureaucratic oversight. Thus, the Leopard Room came into existence. The Leopard Room was not only a place of indulgence, like a paradise on earth, but also a new political center where Zhu Hozhao could break away from traditional constraints and escape the control of the scholar officials. To achieve this goal, Zhu Hozhao needed to rely on certain individuals for assistance. Relying on his relatives and vassal kings was obviously not viable, as most of them lived in the provinces, far from the capital, and could not provide direct support. Moreover, if the vassal kings became too powerful, they could potentially threaten his throne. Relying on the maternal relatives of the imperial family was also not an option, as the background of the Ming dynasty empresses was mostly humble, and their influence was weak, making them unreliable. Furthermore, some of these maternal relatives had formed alliances with the scholar officials, making them untrustworthy. In the end, Zhu Hozhao chose to rely on the eunuchs around him. Eunuchs, due to their physical disabilities, could not pose a threat to imperial power. So Zhu Hozhao was not concerned about them. Additionally, eunuchs controlled important intelligence agencies and the military, enabling them to easily obtain leverage over the scholar officials and even accumulate vast wealth nationwide. As a result, Zhu Hozhao began to depend on these eunuchs, particularly the 8 Tigers group around him, who helped him establish his own political system within the Leopard Room. Thus, in the Leopard Room, Zhu Hozhao not only indulged in pleasure but also carried out a series of political activities, especially making significant adjustments in the military. In order to change the situation in the Ming dynasty where civil strength outweighed military strength, he began military training in the Leopard Room, creating an army of his own. The most famous of these forces was the so-called Leopard Room Imperial Army. Although small in number, with only a little over 200 men, their task was quite special. According to the Wanli Yehubian, these imperial soldiers were mainly responsible for guarding and caring for the local leopards in the Leopard Room, of which there were a large number. Historical records indicate that one local leopard in the Leopard Room had more than 200 imperial soldiers assigned to care for it, with an annual salary of 2,800 shur, an ancient unit of grain measurement. And the area occupied was as large as 10 acres. The composition of this Leopard Room Imperial Army was highly unique, with many of the members being Mongols and other ethnic minorities. Scholars speculate that these ethnic minority soldiers were not merely guarding the room but may have also been tasked with military training and officer development duties. Furthermore, according to the Shuyu Zhou Zilu written by Yan Congjian, in the 7th year of the Jiaqing reign, 1528, there were over 90 local leopards in the Leopard Room, suggesting that by the Zhengde era, the reign of Zhu Hozhao, the number of soldiers in the Leopard Room Imperial Army might have reached more than 18,000. While the specifics cannot be fully verified, it is certain that Zhu Hozhao did indeed carry out a series of large-scale military activities in the Leopard Room. Additionally, Zhu Hozhao adopted a similar policy to Zhu Yuanzhang in terms of gaining the loyalty of subordinates and military commanders. He took some key figures as adopted sons and granted them the surname Zhu, thus forming a tight-knit political network. In the 7th year of the Zhengde era, Zhu Hozhao once granted 127 adopted sons, which included not only the eunuchs working in the Leopard Room, but also individuals chosen from servants, merchants, and even defected foreign generals. These adopted sons not only helped Zhu Hozhao consolidate his personal power, but also participated in the military actions of the Ming dynasty. During the Great Victory at Yingzhou, these adopted sons made significant contributions to the country, becoming one of the few successes in the Ming dynasty's military campaigns during the mid-Ming period. Under Zhu Hozhao's influence, the Leopard Room gradually developed into the second court of the Ming dynasty in the mid-period, effectively representing the supreme will of the emperor. Through the Leopard Room, many decisions were made quietly, without the knowledge of the scholar officials and bureaucrats. And even they could not receive any prior information about these decisions. For instance, the Ming Wuzong's war with the Mongol Walla or the suppression campaigns in Jiangnan, these decisions were all secretly carried out through the Leopard Room. These secret actions often left behind absurd historical records. For example, some records even describe Zhu Hozhao secretly leaving the capital to personally go to the frontier to fight, ordering border generals to open the gates and allow passage. While these actions may seem absurd, they were actually part of his way of independently exercising power through the Leopard Room, thus escaping interference from the traditional court. This also made him a representative of the eccentric emperor in history, with a somewhat absurd image. In his struggles with the scholar officials, Zhu Hozhao also employed unique methods. He ordered the cabinet and the 6 ministries to send all important official documents and memorials directly to his residence via swift couriers, to be handled by the Leopard Room cabinet. Even though this approach clearly impacted efficiency, he persisted. This was because Zhu Hozhao not only wanted to free himself from the interference of the scholar officials in his power but also aimed to tightly control them, preventing them from overexercising their power, which could even threaten his throne. Through this approach, Zhu Hozhao was able to bypass the traditional court institutions, centralizing all power in his hands, ensuring he would not be sidelined or constrained by external powers. According to some related historians, every person has a complex side, and even ordinary people need to conceal their true thoughts in daily life. For a ruler, an emperor, this is even more pronounced. He must wear different masks to deal with various challenges and situations. The personal behavior of Ming Emperor Zhu Hozhao does indeed deserve criticism. But the existence of the leopard room was not solely for pleasure, it was also a means for him to exercise power. Without the leopard room, Zhu Hozhao would have been nothing more than a nominal emperor, a puppet in the hands of the scholar officials. Ming Emperor Zhu Hozhao knew this well and did not want his talents to be wasted. So the existence of the leopard room was, to some extent, reasonable. It not only satisfied his personal desires but also allowed him to maintain the initiative in the power struggle. However, as history shows, Zhu Hozhao ultimately failed to fully control his destiny. In the 15th year of the Zhengde era, while traveling in Zhenjiang, he unfortunately fell into the water, fell ill, and died at the age of 30, ending his short yet colorful life. This is the History and Culture channel. Liking and subscribing are the greatest help and support to us. Thank you everyone and see you in the next time.